far more DPS than the enemy Zarya is, who's holding things a little bit more defensively.
See, 1Point versus We Have Org. First map of Busan, it's going to downtown. So hopefully we're going to be having some fine action here for us to see. Looking very similar at the moment. We got both GOATs mirror matchups looking to come out of the gate in 15 seconds as they go ahead and clash. So we talked about on the desk, the head-to-head matchup here, the 3-3, not looking good for We Have Org off the bat, Des.
It's a real tough one, to be honest with you, and I think this is where they will get bitten and where we need to see We Have Org change things up as the series go on to counteract One.PoinT, who, as we've seen, are a very solid tank team in previous weeks. There is a reason why they are already in a spot where they've guaranteed themselves a place in playoffs, and most of it comes down to this kind of core three coming across from last season's winners, Eagle Gaming, in Hardest, Superfluke, and Get Amazed. So far, people have really struggled to stop them, and I don't really expect that to change today.
I've got a brief pause, not sure what the cause of that is, but we'll feed that information to you as and when we get it. Looking back on some of this roster there, when we see on Team 1Point there, we got that Eagle Gaming core, obviously the Season 2 champions coming into this one, and they built around it. A lot of praise has been put onto Horthickin, especially on his Brigitte. It has been incredibly impactful throughout this season.
What I really like about Horthick is you're playing with the team here where, again, you've got a very aggressive tank core that like to go forward and be aggressive. They don't make too many mistakes, but Horthick is there lurking in case they do make a mistake or if the enemy team makes too many mistakes by trying to catch them out. He's always the first one in there to try and punish. We saw it when they played against Hurricane as well. All the time, he was always in there trying to get stuns down onto Numlocked and really force him back so the aggression was still in their favour. And again, I'm yet to see a team that's really able to control their aggression, and we spoke so much about the different levels of GOATs that we often see, and I'm expecting here to see a very high-level GOATs, needless to say, coming out of 1Point.
We're clashing over the middle. Superfluke going down low. Not going to be caught out just yet, but that is the protective barrier being used to guarantee he did not go down in that instance. Amp it up. Used by Fat, going for the healing rather than the mobility, but it's We Have Org taking the fight to 1Point very early on. Chubbs will go down. It's Horthick picking up that first blood, and now the rest of We Have Org just falls away to the wayside, and 1Point should get that first cap.
This is where the aggression will always play in favour of 1Point, because I think anyone watching there will have seen how low Superfluke got on more than one occasion, both at the start, and then he got split from his team and got basically surrounded by the members of We Have Org. But they let him out of there with a free charge with the D.Va in tow. He got the D-Met, they brought down the enemy Reinhardt, the rest of his team did that whilst he was being focused, and won the fight on that alone. If We Have Org get capitalized, then I don't know, maybe throwing boxes in there to get us onto him now that he's alone and we will win this fight. It didn't happen though, and he was able to get out for free. So We Have Org not punishing that mistake hard enough.
There could have been a mixture of cooldowns, target prioritization. We just don't know what's going on inside the minds of We Have Org. But it started with the Kara going for the kill there. He did put a lot of focus onto him. Will stay alive, but Chubbs yet again left out. And that Graviton surge into the walls going to pull enemies all together in cover and allow 1Point to filter around them and start getting more kills. Hardest, one of the fastest grab generators we have in Contenders, had a 20% lead over Twals just from the off.
Admittedly, it's pretty easy when your team is winning the fights to get that ult charge online, and I've got to say, I think maybe there was a case of or underestimating exactly how short the range of grab has now become. Of course, a few patches ago, that range did get nerfed, so it's not literally a grab all 6 members and pull them in. It did only catch D.Va, but sometimes getting that D-Mech is all you need to remove that defense matrix. Can't block as much of the damage coming out of the Zek. You can block a Shadow though.
Nice bubble there to cover that sneaky shatter attempt by Superfluke. The rest of We Have Org will stay up enough to contest this point. It's already at 65% for 1Point as they filter back round to the point without that shatter in tow. They do have the self-destruct and Hardest 80% before Twals has got his first grab online. What is going on with this man?
Guy's a machine, what can you say? We always speak about his DPS prowess, but again, it comes down to the aggressiveness of this team and how much they can push and win fights. There's a lot of free charge there. Boxes is gone, Graviton Surge is out.
He's effectively now lapped 12 with Graviton Surges, and it's paid his team dividends. Get Amazed going to go in with the cleanup, and then pushing everyone back to the spawn room. This is a very decisive round one going over the 1Point.
It was just like watching one of the series yesterday where we were counting the same thing. It was one of the Zarya players we were watching on Lighthouse, I believe it was, had the same charge as what the percentage was for the map. Although it's not directly that, Twals is very similar here, where this is their final fight and he's only just got that ultimate online.
Kara has got the sound barrier, he's going to pop it, but Chubbs has already gone down, so you're not going to be on there. Was a little bit hastily called around, they are attempting to get out here in time, but because of the rush nature, it's just so staggered, they're unable to get a coordinated team fight out here. Spotsies will take out Get Amazed, but it's just not enough. Transcendence coming in from Scalar will keep everyone else topped up. The D-Mech D.Va, Krems will finally go down to Hardest, who's just looking to frag out here at the end. retain control of the point, 100% to 0. Round 1 going over to 1 Point.
1 Point coming out in the fashion we expected, which is in sheer dominance as well. And I said in that first fight, we have all that didn't punish that mistake out of Superfluke. Getting himself split from the team should have been a big opportunity for them to win that fight, but they were a bit too hesitant to pull the trigger on him and get the win. And I'm really concerned now, because coming into Mecha Base, this is a map where a team that takes control of the game can hold it for so long, because every single entryway on towards the point is a choke. And especially when Zarya's have got grabs online, you try and walk around that corner, you're going to get stuck to the corner and you will get melted down. There is no safe way through. And again, you're against one of the fastest charging Zaryas we have here in Contenders in the form of Hardest.
Also one of the most aggressives. That's what we've spoken about, the kind of double-edged sword of Hardest. Yes, he will get those grabs online faster than most, but he does put himself in precarious situations to do so. If we have the initiative, they can capitalize on that mistake and find an in.
The problem is very few teams have had that initiative or found him in a risky enough position. He's very smart in terms of where he puts himself when he's playing this aggressive, but here comes the first scrap.
Already around the corner, Chubb's got that Discord orb, going to be boot back. Spox is going down low. He has got the resources to keep himself back up, so they're still playing around this pillar. They've got another 8 seconds before the point unlocks, and they have to transition over there. Hellfire's going down low, and like you said, Kanga getting the first D-Mech on the Gidamaze, taking away a huge core of it. Kara then finding Horfik. You spoke about the early aggression, taking control of the map early pays dividends, especially on Mecha Base. Well, we have Org. They're looking to do just that.
Yeah, there was a couple of kills come back across at 1 Point, but ultimately it does still go against him. Gidamaze was sitting very exposed at the back, and you saw on your screen the Zenyatta just plugging away, didn't have to worry about getting hit by the defense matrix because it was being expended elsewhere. And behind the shield, it just wasn't going there for them, but they still lose this fight out by the looks of it. In fact, well, 1 Point winning it back, taking it off them pretty quick.
Well, the thing is, like you said, they were taking early control. They did have a kill feed advantage, but it wasn't a decisive victory like we saw on Downtown. So when it came to winning that first fight, they'd also lost members themselves. They don't have a definitive hold of the map, and we have Org. They didn't get the reinforcements out as fast as 1 Point did, and they were able to just find picks to flip it back over.
We have Org didn't really group that together quickly enough as well. They won that initial fight and then still lost themselves a couple of members in the trade. So yes, although it was a great first opening kill, there we go, the stick on the wall like we were speaking about.
Going to pin them against the corner. Transcendence already coming out. They're all going to be alive for that one. It does get that defensive ult out of we have Org, but look what's online for 1 Point. They have a plethora of ults ready to use for themselves as well. Superfluke got that Earth Shadow, going to drop it down, find pretty much everyone. They're going to walk through this one again. 25% on the board and climbing.
I can't remember which team it was against 1 Point that had this exact same problem. I believe it was Hurricane, actually. Yes, it was, on Command Center on Lijiang Tower. So many times there were groups of 6, and Holt would literally just walk up to them, stun numlocked, and they would get a shatter across the whole team. And they weren't punished for it. The same sort of thing happened there, where Holt was given complete agency to walk forward and go at it. If this wasn't Eaton, this should be a wipe.
Hardest has done it again. He's lapped Twirls on Graviton Surge to this map. He's got 2 out before Twirls can find 1. Nice turnaround there by Chubb with that Earth Shatter, but it's going to have that Graviton Surge be eaten up, actually. I don't think they caught anyone. Gidamaze swept in there at the last second. Nom nom nom. No ult for you. As Hardest is back to his 3rd ult in that same fight. What is this man being powered with? Is it Duracell batteries?
I think it was his second one. This other one came out of Twirls that was eaten, like you said. I didn't see any more in this little exchange in this corridor here, but you're right. Getting a second online. I don't think it was in that fight.
They opened with an ult on the corner, Des.
Yeah, and that was that second one then at the end.
No, it's his 3rd.
All right, fair enough.
Like I said, it is unbelievable. That's the point.
Maybe so. Charging that many ults in the space of about 50 seconds is, yeah, quite unbelievable. But you can make it happen, apparently.
Well, they're going to keep the fight going. You're going to be able to move around onto this one. Anyway, Transcendence coming in. Kanga, Twirls. Got this other grab online this time. He's going to be able to throw that one out. Pulls them in together. Gidamaze getting D-Mech early on. It's not a good sign. That's a clean wipe for We Have Org. Superfluke making it not so clean with that flaying strike at the end onto Spox's, but the result's still the same. We have Org at the last hurdle, get the flip back in their control and keep this round and the map alive for them.
And because of how long that fight in the corridor was, where we saw those 4 grabs, if we include Twirls as well, coming out, that enabled them to get to about 84% before they even managed to break that chokehold out. And it's like what a lot of teams do. You just keep on rotating ults in, and because Goats bring such big AoE ults into the fight, well, forever you can hold these chokes down and really prevent them being able to rush through. If they do, they'll find themselves getting cleared out and ulted essentially for free.
Move around, Chubb. Seeing on that Earth Shatter this time around, Hardest has taken himself out, unfortunately, with damage. So that's going to put 1 Point on the back foot before the fight even happens. They know that. They're in full retreat. We have Org following them up. They're holding that line and pushing it against them even further. They have D-Mech Gidamaze. Kreml will take him out. He wasn't close to getting a remech out there, but we have Org going to buy some more time and some percentage on the board.
I was concerned that 1 Point would just basically hit speed boost there, charge out the choke, get behind them onto the high ground, and then descend them to the point from there and force a fight in a more favourable position. We have Org backed way away from the choke, and we're like, yeah, come in, they've done it again here. They've given giving them so much freedom, despite having the Shatter online to force them to use more cooldowns to get through.
Gonna use that Graviton Surge. There's the bomb going up high. Krem's found Scalar. They tried to separate 1.0, but it's not as successful as they like. We have all still got control at this point as Krem's going to take out Horvik afterwards, sweep up with Super Fluke. This is one that Harry said to keep an eye on, and you certainly have to be doing that as he's fragging out on the D.Va in this instance. About to match the percentage from 1.1 fight left in it to decide this round.
He is one of the bigger divas that we have here in Contenders. In fact, I think a certain unknown off-tank kind of team that we all know very, very well did rank him in the top 3, even when you've got our level players here as well, so definitely not one to be ignored.
Eaton not going to be coming out there. Hardest working towards one of his own again, I believe. Sound barrier going to be coming out. Overtime's going to tick down, so now this final fight will be the ultimate decider. Horvik in that first kill onto Chubbs, spins it in favor of 1.0. Following up again onto the second shield bearer on the team. Follow it up onto Twirls. Horvik's popping off, giving 3 Cs at the end of his name as Super Fluke takes out Krems afterwards. It's going to be 1.0 flipping it back over, taking the round and taking this first match.
Big brains coming out of Gedamaze as well. When they first burst out of the choke, he was holding down that right clip, because let's not forget, about 2 minutes prior, they did exactly the same thing to We Have Org with that first corner Graviton Surge, withheld them on the choke and enabled them to wipe them out, but he knew that's exactly what was coming out of the other side and responded beautifully. So good insight from an different team. It was a bit worrying at time for them, I think, seeing We Have Org get back towards about 80-90%, but ultimately they do come out on top and continue to show that dominance we've seen all group stage long.
Sounds a little BM, but We Have Org putting out much more of a fight than I thought they would, especially on that second round on Mecha Base.
Definitely.
So this series could actually still have some fight in it. We're only going to find out when we come back for our second map, but before that, I'm going to take a quick break. Welcome back to Overwatch Contenders. We're about to jump into the second map of our first series. It's We Have Org versus One.PoinT, who are currently leading after a 2-0 victory on Busan. But of course, Mecha Base closer than we thought it was going to be, so there is some fight in We Have Org. That's what we like to see here.
I did expect them to perform better. That's one point. Perform better on Mecha Base than what we saw them do on Downtown. But Downtown was pretty stumpy overall.
Yeah.
And I thought with all the chokes, they'd be able to use the shatters and the graviton surges that Hardest was charging like a madman to actually contain them at the chokes. But it didn't happen. So We Have Org have shown, at the very least, that they can fight back against One.PoinT. Now it's a case of trying to turn it into a map victory, which I think as many teams before then playing this game will attest to. It's no easy feat.
Absolutely not. And onto Nambani first of all. See how this works. Obviously, we've got a hybrid map type coming up second in our rotation. I do believe it's going to be We Have Org on the defense. Nope, it's One.PoinT on defense first, so they're going to be holding that one up. And they're running with a standard Goats.
What a surprise there. One.PoinT and Goats, find me a better couple. It's never going to happen.
Eagle Gaming and Goats.
Maybe so. Maybe this is kind of the half iteration of that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they varied it up quite a bit as well. We did see a few variations in there. Admittedly, now that has kind of give rise to the standard form of Goats that we see, which is now Zenyatta-based play. Week 1 and 2 saw quite a lot of Moira, and after that it became pretty much exclusively Zen thanks to the extra damage it gives you, and Trans being such a more impactful ultimate when it's online in those fights.
There's also been the instances, we've seen Ana sneak in a few times, but definitely not as much as Moira and Zen.
Absolutely not. Yeah, in cases here it's great because you can have Ana on the high ground. You tend to play it on things like Horizon or Hanamura. It's pretty good here on Numbani where you've got the cover of the pillar as well.
Yeah.
However, on the attack, what we're actually seeing coming out is the Moira, so it's going for that more of the sustaining, healing-based sort of setup. You ride on that Coalescence coming on quicker than the Transcendence does thanks to the burst area of effect healing that you have, and then you can just go for that and win a fight on that alone.
Interesting decision to go for the charge before the shield bash there, because they're using that CC to attempt to isolate the Reinhardt and drop the shield rather than go for the shield bash. So interesting take there for Super to commit to that. Hardest maybe regretting his decision. He's got his team to back him up and correct the mistake that could have happened there. Going to go for a reset on this fight. Nothing taken, but it's pushed it round to Main Street now and it's causing a reposition, and maybe we have One.PoinT being a little bit slow to the shake, but Chubb's still going to find himself going down here, all 50 cleanup boxes as well. So nice move, nice attempt to catch One.PoinT in the transition, but ultimately didn't work for them.
They put a lot of focus, at least initially, onto Horthic and then onto Scalar afterwards, but still couldn't pick off either of them. There's lots of support coming from their team, good body blocking as well, coming out of Hardest, getting in front of those team members. But you see what I mean by it's aggressive. He was happy to push out into the open, where he could have walked straight into something like a Zen right click. You just don't know what he was going to happen.
He could have walked into a Lucio, booping him off the staircase.
Exactly, just didn't know, but he still went for that push forward because he was confident enough that he could win some trade on the ult charge there, and well, so far as rewarded, he is 20% ahead.
Not quite lapping 12s like last match.
Not quite yet.
But still got that victory over him. 95% getting close to the offense barrier down. Will be, well, attempted to be stunned, but it's not going to commit there. He'll be winning out this fight super quick with the flame strike onto Chubbs. He's going to charge back into the safety net of that room. So he was after him. Kanga. He's able to get the Coalescence out, but he did have to jump off the map for the reset. So I think We Have Org might looking to change this one up here because the Moira's not working out for them so well.
The straight change up there, Kanga onto the Zen. They did try, and like I say, that was the idea, is you get that ult online before the Transcendence is there on the other side and you go for a win. If it doesn't work though, you're probably better off changing over because their Trans will be online for the next fight and chances are you'll lose that fight as a result. Kind of confused there as to how Twals ended up on his own inside the room. And even when they had the Coalescence on, they didn't really push. They just sat there and let themselves get picked off. With the Hammer Swims coming out of Super Pluke, it brought down Chubbs. And as we always say about Goats, when that main tank is gone and out of the way, you don't have much to keep yourself alive anymore.
It is very much the structural linchpin of the building of this composition. Self-destruct going up high, Twals, Chubbs, isolated, nice boot, protected barriers at the last second, will keep them alive from the explosion, but not from Scalar, who goes in with those hands, and he's still sitting on that Transcendence. No pressure to use it at present. Superpook building towards that slam, and you've got Fat working towards the sound barrier. Twals, he's got a Graviton Surge ready to use next fight.
I always think it's really risky when you're just basically blind firing the Graviton Surges out like Hardest did there. But because they didn't see the Diva anywhere nearby, they were like, oh, it's perfectly safe to use it. So from Twals, not from Twals, sorry. On the other side, it was Krem's going to be the one who wasn't in position there strictly. I think he was looking towards supports rather than where his tanks were trying to push onto the point. Couldn't eat that grab. It was a free grab for One.PoinT, and we saw exactly how that ended up.
Well, there's the Shatter, going to be blocked out for the most part. It's not the Reinhardt shield, it's the Brigitte. Now they're locked up by that Graviton Surge. Sound barrier being committed, traded out for the Transcendent. So Scalar's sitting in there with an extra bit of shield himself. That was a layered double support ult for One.PoinT, but they're able to get the kill on Chubbs. That's what's important here. Tracking on Takara, he's been pushed away. Not able to get a definitive win here. Progress has been going over to We Have Walk. They've got the bodies on the point, but now 1Point are kicking it up into the next gear, clearing them off. 10-player kill streak for Hardest as they look to finish one more fight to seal a full hold.
It's really nice seeing as well. I mean, we haven't spoke about them a whole lot this season because there's so much to focus on for 1Point, but Fat and Scalar as well, perfect ult usage there, very aware of what Superfluke's health was, and as sore as he went too low after the sound barrier, the Transcendence was there, and as soon as that was down, those projected barriers out of Hardest. You can see that synergy really coming together for these guys.
Usually we criticize layering double support ultimates, but in that instance it did keep their main tank alive.
So they were kind of expiring, so it wasn't the worst thing in the world.
It wasn't the worst, no. You typically see them spread out a little bit more. Horthick, he's already been taken down. How can 1Point deal with this? Self-destruct will be the answer for Get Amazed. The triple as they're dragged in for a Graviton Surge after the self-destruct came out. Overtime's going to tick down, and that's going to be a full hold for 1Point.
Really confused as to why Chubbs' shield wasn't up there. I wasn't sure if it was broken, but he was up there swinging away with the left click and then got killed alongside his teammates. And I was like, surely you shield here and keep them alive. But hey, maybe it was broken. Maybe he just couldn't do anything about it. And they do manage to catch that first, well, hold the first point fully. We have Orc, well, 33% and 1Point win this one. One fight is all it's going to take.
Guarantees that they won't go in with a 1-1 scoreline at the half because it will just be 1-0 if they draw. One thing to note there as well, it was a little bit weird to see the Graviton come out after the self-destruct. I don't know if the self-destruct was forced just because of Get Amazed health.
He got demeched.
Right, he got demeched to use this, use the ult. Then Hardest is like, well, cool, we may as well hold it and see what we can get here. Drops it on top of the payload and sucks them in to the self-destruct range. So maybe that actually threw We Have Org off as well. But I do agree with you, that is a little bit confusing that Chubbs would go for the hammer swings.
I mean, it was a much better grab than what we saw last time he was playing on this point, because against British Hurricane, when everyone was on the high ground, he fired the grab and it went below everyone and didn't catch anyone at all. And we were like, what just happened, sorry? We thought it got eaten on cast because Haffy immediately afterwards brought out the defense matrix. Yeah. But that one was really nice because he dropped it on top of the payload. Everyone got sucked from behind the payload up onto it itself. That's when the self-destruct managed to catch them out.
No terrain cover.
Exactly. And even then, to be fair, Ryan was at the back. He wasn't in front. He had two people in front of him, then him at the back. So even if the shield had gone up, he may not have been able to save them regardless. So it was a really smart play. Like you say, the reverse of the order that we do normally see, but they made it work beautifully and did manage to come back what was ultimately a lost fight.
3 kills will do that for you.
Absolutely.
1Point now on the offense. Going to be having a mirror matchup. We have Org. Got a very short window of success. 33% in 4 minutes is all that 1Point needs to go into the half 2-0. Get themselves on that 4-0 train that they are dying to do so, and then release controls of their first place seed over the British Hurricane. Yeah,
1Point basically guaranteeing it at this point, I think. With how they've been playing so far, there's no reason why they can't close this one out. Yes, Mecha Base was a point of concern, you might say, but definitely wasn't going to be enough to break the series for them either way. Now they're rotating round to Main Street, going down this way instead. Normally see teams start on this high ground, that's always the best position to have, but they've acknowledged rather than trying to force their way in, let's just go main.
Yeah, looking to try and catch him in the transition, but going to move him around. Chubbs having that Orb Discord on him, hasn't been cleansed off him, and the line of sight hasn't been broken. Going down quite low, being kept up. Krems, he's having the same problem now. They've used that armor pack to keep him healed up. It's not there for Chubbs. Superfluke going to swing through with that Flame Strikers. Scalar going to be peppering them with these hands yet again. That's 2 kills going over. Serious disadvantage for We Have Org. No ultimates online. They're all going to demech on Get Amazed. It's Hardest now pushing Krems into the corner. He has got that health pack to rely on him on cooldown, but he's going to be burned through by a very quick grab. Ultimately, everything as expected with what was given to them on that round.
Yeah, We Have Org at the very start as well. Their projected barrier came out onto the Brigitte, not onto the Ryan. So when Superfluke was there with the barrier on, he was like, well, you literally can't stand up to me right now. Push the point, and suddenly We Have Org were in full defensive mode. So not really the most ideal target prioritization for that barrier. Did cost them that first fight, and ultimately the map.
But then you could like track all the cooldowns that went onto it as well, because you saw the armor pack go over the Krems
Everything
instead.
went that way.
Then you watched the Reinhardt health go low. Like, where's the burst healing? It's
That's exactly the problem. It's again just a bit of miscommunication, I think, on We Have Org's side, and this is what 1Point strength is. We spoke about it with the double support ultimate saving Superfluke's life. That's where the synergy comes in and where it really starts to help.
Well, you've heard our thoughts on the game so far. We're going to throw it over to our analyst desk to give you theirs on this half.